मीट कर दो 3 मिनट शुरू करें today we discussing topic related with the genetic disorders. So in last lecture we already done the disease of infancy and the childhood. So today we start the new unit related with the genetic diseases, the disorders. So genetic diseases which also can occur after the birth, and also they also can some objective. We also can be done the few objective related to the genetic disorders. First of all, we also develop a basic understanding of the some genetic apparatus and also the few bases. So and then after we also there is the comprehensive, there is the definitions of the different part, like the major genetic abnormalities, and also the some there the we also can be correlate some there the molecular abnormalities and also the other like the genetic defects. Okay, now we can start with the first of all few definitions. Some there the genetic code, and also the some there the chromosomes, and there the genes, and also the cell division related to the utility studied in the embryology, like the some divisions, and the during embryogenesis, like the mitosis and the meiosis, and also having the different phases of the division, and also the some that the molecular, there the mechanisms related to the disease, and also the some abnormal fetal developments. So they also having there the malformations and deformities, and also the dysplasias. So also the disruptions. So we also can be knowing about these some definitions, like some there the perinatal, there the pathology, and also the some related with the birth defects, and also some there the metabolic abnormalities. So now we also can metabolic diseases, and also the some they related to the some genetic abnormalities. Now initially there the in the start, and we also knowing about the cells. The cell is also can be composed of the 3 main components, and outer layer also can be called as the there is the cell membrane. In the center comprise the nucleus. They are composed of the RNA and the DNA. So in the cytoplasm containing the a lot of the major cellular organelles, later Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, so that the mitochondria, so also swans and ribosomes, so endoreticulum. These are the some microfilaments. So these are the some cellular organelles. Now we can knowing about the first of all there is the nucleus, and also the DNA. They also can be arranged. Nucleus containing RNA and the DNA. So DNA they also can be arranged in the in the chromosomes, and they also can be. It is also a network of the granules. So there are the nuclear chromatins. So this is also called the DNA. Is also a deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is a ribonucleic acid. So DNA is also a double-stranded structure, and they are composed of the different nucleosides and nucleotides, and they are the different bases, like the different bases for the DNA, and also the in the different bases also can be occur in the RNA, ribonucleic acid. So it is also a shape is also a structure is also about the spherical. So the shape of the DNA is also called structure double-stranded. So the RNA is also a spherical. Most probably there is the intranuclear spherical intranuclear structures, and so they are also having the nucleus and also the nucleoli. They are also having the part. Ribonucleic acid is also spherical in shape, and they are single stranded RNA. So another definition, the genetic code. What is genetic code? So it is also a series of the series also are messages, and they will also can be contained and within the chromosomes. So it is also a definition. It is also a series of the messages. They also can be contained in the chromosomes. So this code, and they will also can be regulate the cell functions, and by the way of the by the directing the some there the synthesis of the cell proteins, by the synthesis of the cell proteins. Okay, so they also can regulate the cellular function. So they are the code of the code. They will also can be the code, and they also can be they also can corresponding and to the structure, correspond to the structures of the DNA. So the code is also the code is also transmitted. The code is also can transmitted and to the new cells. They also can transmit it to the new cells and during the cell division. So this is also a basic mechanism and for the genetic code. What are the function? They also regulate the normal cell function. The now, so this is also a DNA structure. DNA is also double stranded deoxyribonucleic acid. We also can be initially we also can knowing the some basic regarding the some genetics comprising nucleus containing DNA and RNA. So this is a double stranded helical structure. The DNA most probably the replication. So also having the double stranded molecule. So this is a coiled structure. Now this is a messenger RNA and the transcript RNA. So this is spherical in shape. Okay, now chromosomes. Chromosome it also can exist, and it also can exist in the pairs. They also can exist in the pairs. It is also homologous about the 22 chromosome containing 22 autosomes and 22 pairs of the autosomes and the one pair of the 6 chromosomes. Okay, so they are the total is also 22 pair, and the normal about the chromosome number is the 46 chromosomes. So it is also most probably it is composed of the double cells, composed of the double cells of the DNA. Okay, so it is also a basic unit. It is also called as the basic unit containing there the nucleotides. Basic unit is also a nucleotide. Nucleotide is also containing some there the phosphated groups, and also having there the deoxyribose sugar, and also having there the some basic like the purine, and comprising their adenine and guanine and the cytosine. So these are the bases, and also having there is some pyrimidine, thiuracil, and also the cytosine. So these are the other bases that also can occur within the chromosomes. So the chromosome. Now, what are the genes? So the gene is also a locatable. It is also So genes also are located region of the genomic sequences, and they will also can be uh, sequences, and which also can be corresponding to a unit of the inheritance. Okay, so it is also a union of the genes, also a union of the uh, genomic sequence. It is also a unit of the genomic sequences, and they will also can be sequences, and they also can be encoding. They also can encoding, and they also encoding a current set of the current set of the potential concept or the uh, potentially they are overlapping. There's overlapping the functional products. So that is there is also so genes also unique structure for genes, and they are one of the they are the one, and for one they are the long. So it is also a locatable region of the genomic sequences of the sequences. They also can be corresponding to also a unit of the inheritance. Okay, so this is a definition of the genes. Now, what is the genome capita? So it is also a sum total of the all genes. It's the sum total of the all genes, and they will also can be contained, and within they also can contain within the cells a chromosome. So this is the definition of the genome. Genome is also a sum total of all genes. They also can. Okay, what is the gene product? So it is also a it is also a protein, and are also the RNA. There is a specified and by also a gene specified by a gene. It is also a transcribed or the transcribed and into the mRNA, and in the in the nucleus. They also can be in the nucleus, and they also can be translated and through the transcript RNA, and they also can be cytoplasmic ribosomes. So this is also a gene product. Now we can also now come on to the point. So they are also having the human. What is the human genome? So human genome, it is also a 3 billion pairs of the DNA. DNA. There is the nucleotides. They also can arrange 3 billion pairs of the DNA nucleotides. So about the 50,000 to the 100,000, there is the 100,000 genes. So now we also having there the this is a protein. They also having there the protein. Protein codominant genes, and they also having there is some there is exons, and also comprising there is the introns. So these are the some part of the human there is the human genomes. Now sex chromosomes, and now so there is the genetic sex about they also can be composition of the X and the Y chromosomes. So autosome, they are the 22 pair, and one is the sex chromosomes, and also comprising in the male, it also comprising XY, and in the female is the XX. So they are having the 23 pairs along with the sex chromosome. 22 pair, they are the 44 in number, and they are autosomes, and also the one pair comprising two chromosomes, X and Y chromosomes. They also total number is the 23 pairs, and they are the 46 chromosomes. So they are having the large X chromosomes. So there are the many genes, and they will also having that, and there are many genes, and many they also can become activated. Okay, so there are the small Y chromosomes, and they are entirely, and they are the male sex. They are the male sexual differentiation, and they are the female comprising they are the XX, and they are male comprising they are the X and Y chromosomes. So this is a normal. So they are the one X. They are randomly, and they are inactivated, and they are the non-functioning, and they are non-functional, non-functional, and they're after the first week of the embryogenesis. They're the embryonic period, embryonic development. Okay. Now this is also arrangement of the Marie-Leon law. So now we also come to the Y chromosomes. Y chromosomes, and they are the some. It is also staining, and with also some of the immunofluorescence fluorescent dyes. So now cell division. So this is also comparing the different stages of the cell division. You already studied in the embryology, the mitosis and also the meiosis, and they also having there the some of the there are also having there the so these are different stages of the cell divisions, and then the first cell division, most probably the first the mutant divisions. So this is also a meiosis, and then the now this is also most probably the gametegenesis, the process. So they already discussed in the embryology. So this is a primary follicle. This is the oogenesis, and versus the spermatogenesis. It's a normal phenomena. So this is the most probably the chromosomes. The chromosomes analysis. So we also can be analysis of the chromosome or study of the chromosome. They are called the karyotyping. Karyotypes. So karyotyping, and the total number of the chromosome is 23 pairs, comprising 22 pair. They are autosomes, and one pair is also a sex chromosome. In the male is XY, and female XX. So now the genes, and they're also in the inheritance. So they are showing the different there are the definitions about related with the genetic disorder, the locus, what is allele, what is the locus, what is the recessive genes, and also some there are the dominant gene, and there are the X-linked, sex-linked gene. There's some there are the definition about the locus. What is locus? Locus is also a specified. There is a specified site of a gene, and on the specific site of the gene on the chromosomes. So they are so since the chromosome they also can exist in the pairs. So there are the genes, and they are also paired in structures. So the locus is also a specific site of the gene on the chromosome, specific site of the gene on the chromosome. So since the chromosomes, and they will also can be exist in the pair. Pair के सूरत में होते हैं chromosomes. So autosome total 46 number of the chromosomes. So the genes, and they are also paired होते हैं. Then after another definition is allele. What are alleles? So this is a allele. So there the this is alternative. This is an alternative and alternative form of a gene. So we call the allele alternative form of the gene, and they will also can occupy can occupy the can occupy the same locus. They can occupy the same locus, and they are also having called as the homozygous. Same locus called homozygous, and the heterozygous. So they are also and heterozygous. So this is also called alleles. And what is the recessive gene? Recessive gene हम किसको कहते हैं? Recessive gene it also can be expressed only. It is expressed only and when the homozygous state. So what is the dominant gene? क्या है? It also can be expressed. It is expressed whether expressed दोनों होते हैं, whether the homozygous and or the heterozygous state होते हैं. ठीक है? Heterozygous they are the both. They also can be expressed and when the co-dominant तब जब co-dominancy होती है then they also can call the dominant state होती है दोनों की. Recessive में only heterozygous exist होता है. ठीक है? Only heterozygous. Sorry, only the homozygous. So what is the recessive gene? It also can be exist. It also can be expressed and only when the homologous gene. So that also can be expressed with the homologous gene. Dominant gene होता है, and they will also can be expressed and with the homozygous or the heterozygous and both, and they also can be expressed and when they are the co-dominant. And what is the sex-linked gene? Sex-linked gene क्या होता है? It also can be only X-linked and in the males. They are X-linked in the male, and they are they are the recessive. ये recessive होते हैं and hemizygous. They are recessive hemizygous, and they are called the no alleles and are Y chromosomes. There are no allele on the Y chromosomes. Okay? So these are the few definition about the locus, locus and also in the and alleles. What is the recessive gene? So they also can be expressed on the homozygous state, and they are also dominant gene. They are also expressed on both heterozygous and homozygous. And there is six-linked, and they are the six-linked gene, and they will also can be only, and they are the only X-linked. Now, what is the gene imprinting? So this is also called the gene imprinting. So genes, and they will also can be occur. Genes they also can occur in the pairs. Genes occur they also can be paired on the homologous state. Homologous. They also can be homologous chromosomes, and also homologous and from the each parent cell. So this is also definition of the gene imprinting. Now, what is the genetic engineering? So genetic engineering. So this is also some there the insertion. There's insertion of also insertion of a gene. There also can be encoding. Insertion of a gene encoding a desired product, and for example, so there the insulin into also a bacterium. So this is also called there is genetic engineering. So now gene therapy. So gene therapy they are also having there the normal gene. There the normal gene inserted. Normal gene also inserted into the defective cells. This is also called the gene therapy. Now some there are the congenital or the hereditary disease. There are the disease or the disorders. So first of all, so the name of the, there are some there are the congenital or hereditary. So they also can comparing, there are three types. Number one, there are the development disorders. They are the monogenic disorder, they are polygenic, and also the some there are the multifactorial inheritance. So some there the disorder they also can be called the congenital. Congenital uh, congenital abnormalities, and they will also can be present at the birth. So congenital anomalies hoti hain, they also can be present at the time of the birth. And second one is the hereditary. Hereditary, they are the genetic, most probably they are the genetic disorders, and they also can be resulting and of the resulting from the chromosomes abnormalities, chromosome abnormalities, and are the some there the defective gene. So they are showing there is some hereditary disorders, some autosomal disorders like the autosomal dominant, or also the some there the recessive disorders, and comprising there the sex-linked disorders. What are the causes of the malformations? Malformation की causes क्या है? First of all, there are the chromosomal abnormalities. So also can comparing there the addition or the, are there the addition of the chromosomes, number of the chromosome, and there the deletion of the chromosome number. They also can call as the trisomy or the monosomies. So some other related with the autosomal disorders, chromosome abnormalities, and also the some condition they are also can be called as the 6 chromosomes chromosome abnormalities. They are called as the Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. So there are the gene abnormalities. So these are the causes of the malformation. First of all, chromosomal abnormality they are considering as autosomal disorders, autosomal, and the 6 chromosome disorders. Otherly, they are the gene abnormalities. Another one, and there is the intrauterine infections, and also the some other there is the intrauterine, there is the injury, for example, during the most probably they also can occur during the radiations, and also there's infections like there is some there the environmental causes. So these are the some there are the infections. So other there are the environmental effects that also can occur on the gene and the genetic environmental effects, and they also can occur genetically. So Salim, went over. These are so these are the some causes of the malformation. So also having the chromosomal abnormalities, and also the some there the gene abnormalities, some there the mutational changes, some there the gene mutation like the different type of the gene mutations, and chromosomal there the mutations, and other lesion there the intrauterine injuries, and for example during the radiation, and also some there the infections, and also the some environmental causes, environmental effects, and they also can occur on the genetically. There the they also can predisposing there the embryo. Now other like some the chromosomal abnormalities. Chromosome abnormalities, they are the most common causes like the non-disjunction. एक होता है non-disjunction क्या है, उसके बाद another one there is translocation क्या है. So these are the some chromosome abnormalities. They also comprising like the non-disjunction. So it is also a failure of the homologous chromosomes, and in the germ cells, and they can separate. The cell division to separate and from one another. They cannot be as they also can failure of the definition of the non-destruction is a failure of the homologous. There's a failure of the homologous chromosomes in the germ cells, to separate and from the one another and during the first or the second, they also can be second and their mutate division. उनके दौरान they cannot be separate. They also can become a condition called the non-disjunction. So उसी के दौरान they also can produce some chromosomal abnormalities होती हैं. So another one, there is six chromosomes and are the autosomes. Autosome, there is involvement like as a, so there is a extra, most probably there is extra chromosomes called the trisomies. Trisomy 24, there are the 47 number. So the chromosome number and become the 24 pairs, or they also can become, एक जगह पे 24 होते हैं and एक जगह पे हमारे पास 23 होते हैं. They also can become 47. For example, the important example called as there is a trisomy 21. Trisomy is also a, the addition of the one chromosome जो on the autosome pair पे होते हैं. Autosome जो 22 pair के साथ है, उसके साथ दो की जगह पे तीन हो जाएंगे. जो एक पेयर बनता है दो क्रोमोसोम का, उसकी जगह तीन बन जाएंगे. तो they also can call the their addition. टोटल नंबर तो 46 है, 6 क्रोमोसोम भी सेम होंगे, उसके साथ जो हमारे पास एडिशन होगी जो 21. why we call it 21? तो 21 का जो पेयर होगा उसी पे हमें दो, यानी एक पेयर में दो होते हैं क्रोमोसोम, तो उसकी जगह हमें तीन मिलेंगे. तो there is the addition of the another chromosome on the number of the 21 pair पे addition होते हैं. Then we also can call the trisomy 21. तो उसकी एग्जांपल से 21 पे भी एडिशन होती है. trisomy 18 भी होती है, जो 18 नंबर ऑफ द क्रोमोसोम पेयर पे वो एडिशन एक हो जाता है. और जो थर्ड एग्जांपल है ट्राइसोमी की 13, ट्राइसोमी 13, उस पे भी वन एडिशन होगी. ठीक है, तो ये दिस इज आल्सो अ एग्जांपल ऑफ द अदर द ट्राइसोमीज. Okay, so they also can call the any addition of the extra chromosome, जो एडिशन हो जाएगा एक क्रोमोसोम. ठीक है बेटा. उसके बाद there is the absence, there is the most probably there is the absent chromosomes number and there is the most probably called the monosomy. तो हम monosomy 1 हमें वो एक हमें डिलीशन हो जाएगी, तो एक पे जो यहाँ पे then we also can call the 22 pair and or they also can call the 45 chromosome number. तो ये दिस इज एग्जांपल ऑफ द मोनोसोमी. एक होती है सेक्स क्रोमोसोम में होता है, एक ऑटोसोम होते हैं. तो ऑटोसोम में जो यहाँ पे नंबर बनेंगे उस पे नंबर जो 44 होगा, दे आर मोस्ट एग्जांपल देयर मोनोसोमी. तो ये डिफरेंट हमारे पास जो मोनोसोमी एग्जांपल्स हैं, तो ये भी कॉल्ड एज 44. तो ये सेक्स क्रोमोसोम के साथ जो एबनॉर्मलिटीज होती हैं उसमें हमारे पास टर्नर सिंड्रोम आता है, उसके साथ जो है ना वो दूसरा क्लाइनफेल्टर सिंड्रोम आता है. ठीक है. So this is also one the addition of the chromosomes on the sex chromosome पे addition हो जाएगी. So they also can become 47 in number. They are called as the Klinefelter. Now, so they are also having this is a non-disjunction. So this is the first or second mutate division. उसके दौरान they cannot become separate. यहाँ पे वो separate नहीं हो रहे, and they also can call the condition called non-disjunction. So this is also example of the trisomies. Now what is the chromosome? There is the detection. So they are showing there is the, so now there is also a chromosome deletion. किस तरह होती है deletion of the chromosome? This is a broken. There are also a broken piece of the chromosomes. Broken piece of the chromosomes, and it is also called is also can be lost, and from the they also can be lost from the cell. तो वो lost हो जाएगा. This is a condition. They also can call the deletion of the chromosome. वो एक कम हो जाएगा, तो वो broken हो जाएंगे. And the one there the most probably there the translocation, and they are the not lost, but it also only just a misplaced. ये misplaced हो जाएगा, तो उसमें lost नहीं होगा. And they also can misplaced, and they are also they also can be and also attached and to the they also attached to another, but in misplaced हो जाएंगे. They also can be attached to the another chromosomes. Okay, so this is also condition called as the translocation. So this is also having there the different types of the reciprocal. So there is different type of the Now this is also translocation, and in the most probably there is the in the so this is also a 6 chromosomes abnormalities. They also can comprising 6 chromosomal abnormalities comprise the Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. One there is the deletion of the 6 chromosomes, and also there is the addition of the 6 chromosomes that are called a 47 pair number. So this is also a photograph of the Turner syndrome. They also having there the webbed neck, and also the low set ears, and also some there the wide space nipple. So these are the some. They also having there the second streak ovaries. So this is a condition called as the Turner syndrome. So this is also a condition called the Klinefelter syndrome. Klinefelter is the addition of the one six chromosomes. So इसमें जो है ना वो they are also having the इसमें जो arrangement होती है वो उसमें they also can loss of the secondary sexual characteristics होते हैं. So they also can become thin and tall होते हैं, mentally retarded होते हैं. So these are the some manifestation related with the Klinefelter syndrome. Now that the autosomal abnormalities, and now we also can be abnormality, the loss of the most probably there is the genetic material. So these are the some conditions. They are showing that the deletion of the chromosome, isochromosomes, and some there are the isosomes and isochromosomes, and there are the most probably trisomies. Some there are the most probably there are the syndromes. For example, like the 21, 18, and 13. This is also example of the trisomies. A loss of the genetic material, and they also can call the material. This is the aborted, most probably there the aborted embryos, and then the deletion of the chromosomes, deletion of the genes. So they also can be called the congenital anomalies. Another example is the trisomies. There is no syndromes and monosomies. So this is also a trisomy example of the trisomy 21. 21, there's a addition of the chromosomes on the 21 पेयर पे उसके साथ एक एडिशन हो जाएगा. ठीक है. This is also a photograph of the a case of the Down syndrome. Trisomy 21. What are the causes of the trisomy 21? Number one, most important is the non-disjunction. Most probably during the gametogenesis, and they cannot failure of the separate most probably in the first or second mute division, and also the mostly they also can occur 95% of the cases. So this is also another one. There the translocation, they also can be having the rare non-disjunction, and they also can occur in the zygote, and most probably rare. So translocation 21. So these are the abnormal gene, most probably there are the disorders, abnormal gene diseases. So first of all, there are the individual genes, and they also can be individual gene abnormalities. एक तो होती हैं कि individual abnormal gene होती हैं. उसके बाद some there are the hereditary. There are also having there some there hereditary diseases, and hereditary disease, and that there also can be transmitted most probably mostly and from the on the autosomes, mostly on the autosomes only, and also a few on the 6. Okay, mostly जो है ना वो hereditary disorders, and they also can transmitted on the autosome chromosome पे. ज़्यादातर जो है ना hereditary diseases most probably आती हैं कि there is also a defect occur within the autosome chromosome पे, जो पेयर पे जो 6 chromosome पे few cases होते हैं. ठीक है, on the chromosome पे. So उनके बाद so there also there is the gene mutation, and they also can be spontaneous होती हैं. ठीक है, gene mutation. There also are some there is the point mutation. There is a permanent, and there is the there's a loss of the one base sequence, वहाँ पे जो है ना वो जीन की लॉस हो जाए, परमानेंट लॉस हो जाएगा. वन सिंगल बेस सीक्वेंस में कोई चेंज आ जाए, they also can be called as a point mutation. The most common example of the point mutation is also a sickle cell anemia, sickle cell diseases, and there will be also having there the replacement of the valine पे यहाँ पे glutamic acid आ जाएगा, तो there also having there the एट क्रोमोसोम नंबर ग्लूटामिक एसिड वेलिन आ जाएगा, तो उसपे कौन सी क्रोमोसोम नंबर पे, 6 नंबर पे, तो 6 नंबर पे वहां पे जो ना एक जो है वो बेस सीक्वेंस पे कहीं एक अमीनो एसिड की चेंज हो जाएगा, तो दे आल्सो लीडिंग टू द पॉइंट म्यूटेशन, दे आल्सो लीडिंग टू द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द देयर इज सिकल सेल anemia, sickle cell disease. So this is also some there the mode of the inheritance. First of all, there is also in there the mode of the inheritance. There is the autosomal dominant trait होता है, एक होता है autosomal recessive होती है. So some there the disorders autosomal recessive and there the codominant होती है, codominant and X-linked disorders होते हैं. So first of all, there are the autosomal dominant disorders. So it is also a autosomal dominant is also a dominant gene. Dominant gene, they also can be expressed, and within the they also can express within the heterozygous state. They also can be expressed in the heterozygous state. So there is another condition called autosomal recessive. Autosomal dominant का क्या मतलब है? तो it is also a the dominant gene होता है. They also can be expressed and within the heterozygous state पे. Okay? जो autosomal recessive gene होते हैं, autosomal recessive जो disorders होते हैं, they also can be expressed only, they also can occur in the in the homozygous individuals. So they also can homozygous individuals and the disease, and only most probably the only, and if both if the both alleles and they are abnormal, both alleles they are also abnormal and they also can be become carrier. इसमें जो autosomal recessive में जो होते हैं most probably the mental disorder, they also having the 25% affected होते हैं, उसमें से 25% कैरी होते हैं और 50% जो नॉर्मल होते हैं. ठीक है बेटा. उसके बाद ऑटोसोमल जो डोमिनेंट डिसऑर्डर्स होते हैं उसमें 50% अफेक्टेड, 50% नॉर्मल होते हैं. ठीक है. Another condition, there is codominant disorders that also can occur. There is a full expression. There must be a full expression of the both alleles. इसमें full expression of the both alleles होते हैं. So they also can be homozygous state होती है. ठीक है. तो this also called the codominant both होते हैं. ठीक. उसमें there are also having there the X-linked disorders. So usually they also can be they also can affected males. They also can be affected male offspring affected होते हैं. So these are the some disorders like autosomal dominant disorder, autosomal recessive disorder, autosomal dominant disorders, and they are comprising some their involvement of the some their current issue, the Marfan syndrome, achondroplasia, and sometimes tuberous sclerosis. So these are the some lesion. They also can be occur. Achondroplasia, Marfan syndrome होता है, tuberous sclerosis होती है. उसके साथ there the hypercholesterolemia होती है. So these are the some related disorders. Autosomal recessive disorder, they also having there the defective some there the protein or the enzymatic gene, and though they will also can be so this also some there the intrauterine injuries. So having there the most probably some drugs like thalidomide, and there the radiation most probably causes, and they will also can cause the some there the gene abnormalities like the X-rays, and most probably the radiation X-rays. And some the maternal infections like the cytomegalovirus and also the rubella virus. So these are the some viruses, and they also can be affect the cellular system. toxoplasmosis gonadie. So this also can be called some there are the infections. They also can call the some there are the abnormality in the gene. Thalidomide drug. So this is also a prenatal cytomegalovirus infection. So there's the multifactorial inheritance. We also can be discussing in the next lecture. So it is also having the combined effects of the most probably there will be multiple genes combined effect होते हैं, and they will also can be interacting, and with the some there is the environmental factor and some other environmental agents, and most probably, for example, and some there is the cleft palate, and also the another lean the cordic malformations, and there is the killer foot, another lean like the hip dislocation and hip dislocation and the spina bifida. So these are the some factors they also can contributing some the multi-factor and they also can call the multi-factor inheritance. What is the cause? And most probably there is also can be developmental sequences. There also can be developmental sequence. There also can be fail. They also can fail to reach it. The certain we have certain. So this is also heavy there. So today's lecture is about the some there the some there the introduction about the first of all you know about the cell, normal cell comprising lipid bilayer membrane, outer membrane, cell membrane, and also having there the nucleus. Okay, what is the gene objective? We are also covering like the definition about the gene क्या है, genetic code क्या है, उसके साथ chromosome क्या है, nucleus comprising DNA, RNA, and also the some there genetic code क्या है, उसके साथ some there the replication of the RNA and the DNA. So now we also can be some the chromosome. Chromosome what is the function of the number of the chromosome, कितनी नाम chromosome होती है, कहाँ कहाँ किस सेल में कहाँ सेल में किस तरह सेल में होती है, and then the genes क्या है, genome क्या है, उसके साथ gene product है, उसके साथ human most probably gene. So this is a most probably 6 chromosomes. So then after we also can doing the X5 chromosomes. So this is the cell division, different stages of the cell division. We also can be done some there the different abnormalities like this is the karyotyping, the study of the chromosome, the total number of the chromosome. Let's say about the 46 46 in number, about the 23 pair including 22 pair autosomes and 1 pair is 6 chromosomes. In male comprising XY and female is the XX. So this is the genes and also some there the inheritance. So these are the most probably a definition like the locus क्या है, allele क्या है, then the what is the recessive gene क्या है, and then the dominant gene क्या है. So so now we also can gene therapy, the gene imprinting engineering. So under the congenital or hereditary disorders like the different causes. So next lecture we also can be doing some there are 3 main types of the diseases. First of all, there are monogenic disorders, another is the polygenic, and also the some there are multifactorial inheritance. So these are the 3 most important diseases that also can occur within the genetic disorders. So inshallah, so the most important causes of the malformations, chromosomal abnormalities. some there the gene abnormalities होती हैं, उसके साथ some there intrauterine injuries होती हैं radiation से, and also some there the infections से, and some the environmental causes. So there are some there the chromosomal abnormalities, non-distinction causes क्या है chromosomal abnormalities की, there is non-distinction है, उसके साथ translocation है. So these are the some there the कौन-कौन सी जो है ना वो abnormalities में most probably abnormalities होती हैं. In the autosome में there is a most probably also can be occur, there is a trisomies and monosomies, and also the in the autosome disorders and sex chromosome disorders, and they also comprising there is the Turner syndrome and also the Klinefelter syndrome. Autosomal abnormalities, so these are the most important causes. Autosomal abnormalities, loss of the genetic material, they also called as abnormal, most probably abnormal embryos, and there is a deletion of the gene. This also can produce in the congenital abnormalities, and there is the trisomies, there is the addition of the one chromosomes. Most common example is the 21, and after the 18 and the 13. This is also a case of the trisomy 21. So trisomy 1 causes important non-distinction है, translocation है. This is abnormal. There is the genetic disorders. So these are the most important modes of the inheritance, like autosomal dominant disorders, autosomal recessive disorders, sex-linked disorders, X-linked co-dominant disorders के हैं. Intrauterine injuries, some drugs भी करती हैं, radiation से, infection से, they also can participate. Thalidomide drug, and this is also having there the diethylestylbistrol. तो ये जो दियासो का cause there is cervical carcinomas. There the most probably there the okay. So this is also some the multifactorial inheritance. Okay, beta. Thank you, beta. So this is all about the introduction about the some the genetic disorders. You know about the some the gene क्या है, chromosome क्या है, उसके साथ आपको सेल की स्ट्रक्चर पता होना चाहिए, number of chromosome आना चाहिए, number of chromosomes, autosome pair होते हैं 22, and there is a 1 6 pair, there is a total number the 23 pair, 23 pair chromosome. When there is the so inshallah we also can be discussing some disease, there is some there more inheritance discuss in the next lecture inshallah. Thank you very much. Yeah.